Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jacob. Welcome back to Space Engineers. Today we are going to be working on the mobile refinery we have here. We've got a nice area for the cockpit. We'll be doing that later. We've got a nice armor edge over here and the main body. Now, for those of you just joining us, the mobile refinery here is to house two of these collectors, these resource collectors, which have mining lasers. And since the resource collectors don't have any refineries or much cargo space, we are going to be using this mobile refinery as our refinery and cargo space for ores and ingots. This will basically go up by itself with two collectors, so a crew of 3 maximum is kind of required. So what we're going to be doing today is the bottom section, which is where the drones are going to be stored and where additional cargo space / refinery space is going to be held. In fact, it may be more refinery space than cargo space since due to the amount of space we have here. Now, we're going to need plenty of space in order to house these collectors. For instance, this is what I've decided. We're basically going to have a floor here, yeah, which allows for more cargo space, more refinery space. We'll be using a mixture of advanced and regular refineries, because I see them, well, because regular refineries are smaller, whereas advanced refineries are better. Well, faster anyway. So there's going to be a floor all the way along here, all the way along, good. And underneath is going to be a connector, and that connector will be connecting onto this thing here, connector that's on the collector. You should get the name by now. So what we have to do is we need to calculate where that connector is going to be in reference to this, which may be kind of annoying. So we've got to have a free block behind us. I think that's how so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, I believe that's the interior. So we just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the 5th block, yeah, on the middle, this is the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This block here is going to be the center, or where the connector is going to be. For now, I'm just going to show where it is, basically because that's much easier to do and it will help me later. So we can do that, and then we need the middle, which should be here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. So another thing that I've also installed, which you may notice right now, is that all of the edges for the armor blocks have gone. You know, there should be black edges around here. You can even see it in the picture of the light armor block, but none exist. This is because I got rid of them due to them being a horror on my designs. So everything should look a lot smoother now. You might have noticed that earlier, which good for you. Okay. So, this is going to be the back end of where the collectors will be stored, and then here will be the connector itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these. I'm going to get rid of this. And if I was a smart man, which I am, we're going to place conveyor junctions here so that, you know, everything's fine. Okay? And then let's just finish up these kind of grid sections, and then everything should be fine. Noting that we're using the Nano Factory again to build everything, because doing it by hand, as many people have seen, is the worst thing that could ever happen. Well, it's not the worst thing, but it is kind of annoying. And then we're going to surround this, and we will deal with the connectors in a second. Just let that do its thing. Okay. So I've worked out where the connector is going to go. Now we need to see how far down this bottom section needs to be. Now, the connector is going to be here, and the connector is going to be 1 block under, so it's going to be here. So therefore we need, in addition to what we've got, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minimum. 6 minimum. And we'll probably go 7 so that we can have kind of a curved area at the back. So we need to go down by 7, noting that the main section that's going to be created is this area, this cubish area over here, and an area over here which is going to be done as well. Now, since the collector has a round shape, we can also have a round shape doing this instead of just, you know, a complete straight line. You'll see that more in a second. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we can go over to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and across. Now, this isn't the final look of what the armor will be, but it gives us an impression of how big this thing is going to be. And as you can see, the collector should easily fit inside here. Excellent. I'll be back in a second once I've completed the mesh that we are going to be using for designing this armor section. Okay, there we go. Nanite factories have finished their job. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, and this is going to be fun, since this is technically part of the capital ship for now, we're going to add a connector here. This connector is simply just going to do its job in keeping this where it will be docked eventually, and so that we can build armor blocks around it. Yes. So we're going to wait for that to happen, and meanwhile we're going to be designing the armor blocks that are going to be on the sides of it, because having a complete thing on its own is not the best armor design I can come up with. So we're going to be doing a kind of this kind of design, and we also need corner blocks like so. There. And so those things should get welded, and we can hop into the collector and start moving it. Now, I've also gotten rid of everything in the collector except the arc fuel, noting that we are going to have assemblers that will build arc fuel on the mobile refinery, and we've also got steel plate in here that I was using earlier. Now that's backwards. So what we need to do in order to dock is first of all reverse in, possibly straighten up a bit, and a bit to the left. I think that's left, yeah? Left, good. And then up. We also need to turn on the collector. Now this docking thing is going to be very delicate when I have... Oh, god damn it. When I have the full armor design in. I keep letting go of Alt. It's not helping me. Up. Right, we've turned off inertia dampers, so that should not hurt us anymore. And we're just going to shuffle round so that we are the right way. Is this suitable? Yes, this is suitable. So we're going to lock in place. And turn on inertia dampers again. Actually, no, we're going to turn those off just in case we start drifting. By the way, just in case we start drifting, then I'll just use the capital ship. Turn on inertia dampers on the capital ship and do that. And this should also be producing power for us, I believe. Yeah, we've got 10.8 gigawatts of power on this entire grid. So the capital ship and the collector and the current construction of the mobile refinery. So now that we have this, which is not actually aligned properly, but that's fine. I will deal with it later. What we're going to need to do is get light armor blocks. Just going to create a ridge here, so that I know what I'm dealing with. And the only real obstacle that's going to be here is, okay, first of all, a lesson on how the mobile refinery in Homeworld works. So basically you have resource collectors. They don't usually dock. They do. It's a very different collector, but I'm using the same principle. Basically what happens is they get resources, they get full, they come here, and then they go diagonally upwards into a kind of sloped area where they drop off their resources. I'm going to use a similar thing, except they move diagonally upwards and then up into here so that it's connected. So we need a majority of this and this to be open in order for that to work. We do not, however, need most of this. I'm actually seeing a problem here. This is not low enough. Okay, right, this isn't low enough. Right. Of course it's not low enough, because I didn't do the calculations properly. That's fine, I'll just deal with it temporarily, and then we'll fix it later. Or we could add it into the armor design. Yeah, that would work. Right, we can get rid of that. We can also get rid of these guys. Temporarily. Yeah, that might actually be added into the armor design as well. So, we're just going to create an area which will suffice for testing. And what do we need? If we do this, and then we get armor slopes, flip them around, and do something like this. Now what we need to see is... No, that's not going to work. Not going to work. We're instead going to do this and do this. Right? That should work. That should, because we've got thrusters in the way. So what we will now do is extend this along here. Right? That should be far enough, I think. Okay, we've extended that, and then we will extend these sloped sections. Good. And the last sloped section here. Okay, yeah, we've got a problem here. We can't place it because the ship is kind of in the way, like just barely. So instead we're going to undock this for a second and move it away. So undock, turn off, move it this way a bit so that we can work on it. Oh yeah, initial happiness, that would be useful. We can go back over here and we can finish this. Okay, right, so we've got a nice curved surface here, and then what we also have is we have armor blocks. I will fill in the rest of it in between cuts, because that will be much more efficient of time. So if we fill in here, and then we fill in here, and lastly here. Okay. Now that we've done that, I also want it to be kind of, you know, similar to what we've already got. So what we're going to do is we're going to mirror that. Or at least we are going to semi-mirror it. Instead we're going to... I can't rotate. A universal constant is it's next to impossible to rotate in this game, but off by heart. Well, it's not impossible. There are people who can do it. I am just not one of them. Right. So we need this guy to be here, and along this side. Not that far though. And then we can get the other one. Head back. Except we don't need it here because this is going to be completely solid. Okay, so just so that you know, here, well not here, but here is going to be a door that allows you to get into here. It's going to be a short spacewalk, but it's very, well, it's going to be much easier for me to use. And then we go along like this. And I know this is going to look a bit weird, but trust me, weird designs are awesome designs. Right. Looking nice. We'll also deal with how the armor ends at the front and how it ends at the bottom later. And also, this design will be duplicated onto the other side. And when I say duplicated, I mean not copy-paste, I mean build it myself. Okay, so now that we've done that, what we can do is we can now sidle over to the left, turn on the connector, and up a bit. And lock. Okay, so that should do. That is terrifyingly close. That is terrifyingly close. But that's fine. Okay. I have now gotten over that. So, last thing that we need to do is this section. We've been going up to here, right? Yes. Up to here. Nice. So what we're going to do is add some armor sloping here. And that should end all of the armor slopes that we need to do to make this thing look not terrible. Except you don't need to be there. Nice. And then we just need some regular blocks over here. And then that should look better. So, as you can see, the collector can go forward and backward, well, can go this way, or he can go diagonally downwards, which is good. Should give him enough movement room in order to do what he needs to do, which is good. I am complaining a bit about how this is working, so I may change that. But overall, it does look nice. Except this bit. This bit over here needs to change. Okay, I'll change this section here, the top right corner, into something a little more, you know, aesthetically pleasing. Back in a second. Okay, we are back. So I've done some redesigning. It took me a while, like quite a while, and there was a lot of background noise, so I decided to cut that bit out. But we have this kind of octagonal design with, you know, 3 sides missing. So it should fit the collector very nicely. Yeah, so if we go inside, we go inside, go inside, go inside, we can then proceed to go left and up, and then in, and yeah, we need to engage connector, start magnetizing, and lock. And then, as you can see here, we've got a door, which will be one of the airlock doors that you can go into, and gravity will be enabled, and then you can go out. My plan for gravity generators is to have it so that it covers the entire ship, including this area out here with the docking bays. Now that we've done that, there is one final thing that we need to do, and that's, well, to curve this area, noting that I will duplicate the design over to the other side. We'll do the interior and the other hull section next episode. So, first of all, I'm going to find an area where I can get some oxygen, which can't be from there because that's not connected to the network. No way it's going to have it. I'll have to go in here then. Oh well. Right, so I need oxygen. I need an oxygen tank. I need 2. Throw both of the spent oxygen into there, and that should be fine. Now we do have some of these flying things, and that's because, well, I kind of missed when building. Now you may think, how come it's that far away, but trust me, that's what happens. So, back over to here. The plan, if I flip around you can see a bit better. The plan that we're going to do is we're going to have armor corners here, and then we're going to have an inverted corner which needs to be here, and then you're just going to regular light block and corner blocks here. That's simple, really that simple. And then we'll do the same over here and have some kind of curving around over to here, possibly a bit flatter, using the other available area, well, other available blocks. So I just need you, 1, 2, 3, and you. Okay, now we have a flat section here. What we can do is we can use these light armor slopes, which I need to rotate into the correct position, going like this, and we can proceed going down this way. So this bottom section should be flatter than the top section and look kind of nice. It also looks like a foot as well. like one of the rams that you would get on an ancient age vessel, such as, you know, the galley, or the trireme, or the quadrireme, or something like that. I may not know how to pronounce it, but I can still try. I'm going to break these two because of reasons that will be explained later. Actually, that may not have been necessary, but you get the point. And then just go over to 4, get these corner ones, and flip it around so that it actually works. There. And then once that's all welded, that should look pretty nice. I'll also start putting them over here as well, because I've got star construction on the other side as well. That's going to be done between episodes because, well, it takes a while, doesn't it? So throw that all the way down there, get these guys, flip them around with a feeling. And you just see that the foot kind of looks nice, doesn't it? Kind of looks nice. And we'll use that kind of armor sloping along the bottom edge as time goes on. So this is the dock for the collector. I hope you like it. If you want to voice any improvements, then do so. Improvements are welcome, very much welcome. Next episode we will be working on the interior and this section of the ship. This section first and then the interior. Should be that way. And this area over here will also be completed. And then we have finishing touches such as the bridge and some other things to do after that. Which means that we should be done with this mobile refinery in 2 episodes. I also need to build another collector, but that's easy as peasy as pie. Until then, my name has been Zero Jake. End transmission.